come to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dear God, thank you for the many blessings our city enjoys. As school begins, please protect our children so they can meet new challenges and enjoy the many opportunities that a new school year brings. Please continue to bring us together in service for the safety and growth of our city. Unite us with a common purpose, dedication, and commitment for our city. In your name, amen.
Clerk Golick, roll call.
Markovich. Here. Spitali.
Here.
Vines.
Here.
Galwinski. Here. Ulaki. Higgs.
Here.
Emerson.
Here.
Henosa.
Here.
Opinker.
Here. Moving on to reading of minutes.
President,
Councilman Spitali.
motion to accept the minutes from July 27, 2015.
There's a motion by Councilman Spitali, second by Councilman Kowinski to accept the minutes. Is there any discussion? Any discussion on acceptance of the minutes? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And it's passed. Moving on to approval of claims.
Mr. Chairman,
Councilman Markovich.
move for approval of claims July 22nd, 2015 through August 5th, 2015. For council meeting August 10, 2015, beginning with claims dated 8/3/15 and ending with claims dated 8/5/15, claim number 4197 through claim number 4464 inclusive for a total of $4,457,140.12. I so move.
There's a motion by Councilman Markovich, second by Councilman Higgs on the acceptance of the claims. Is there any discussion?
Mr. Chair,
Councilman Markovich.
Mr. Chairman, I have a couple additions. Whiting's Lions Club, $100, donation from Councilman Kowinski for the 119th Street battle between Whiting and Clark. Next claim to Councilman Higgs, $2,483.64 to attend NBC Leo Conference at Fort Lauderdale, Florida from August 4th to from 4th to the 9th. I so move.
There's a motion by Councilman Markovich, second by Councilman Kowinski to accept the amended claims. Is there any discussion on the amended claims? Clerk Golick, roll call vote.
Markovich.
Yes.
Spitali.
Yes.
Vines.
Yes.
Galwinski.
Yes.
Ulaki. Higgs.
Yes.
Emerson.
Yes.
Henosa.
Yes.
Opinker.
Yes, amended claims passed, 8-0, one absent. Now the claims as written. Clerk Golick, roll call vote.
Markovich.
Yes.
Spitali.
Yes.
Vines.
Yes.
Galwinski.
Yes.
Ulaki. Higgs.
Yes.
Emerson.
Yes.
Henosa.
Yes.
Opinker.
Yes, claims passed, 8-0, one absent. Moving on to public hearing, there is none. Next item will be communications.
Mr. President,
Councilman Higgs.
the Hammond Police Department sends it says, "Dear council members, wow, this year has been 2014 and the beginning of 2015 has been one of the toughest years in law enforcement history. Access the country, across the country, there's been no different for the men and women of the Hammond Police Department for sure. However, we are holding our heads high and we are very proud to serve the people and businesses in the community. The officers of the Hammond Police Department work hard to do their very best to help keep our families and businesses safe every day. This year, they hope to come together as friends and families on the 5th Annual Police Appreciation Day to be held on Saturday, August 22nd, 2015. It is our goal to treat these men and women to a fun-filled, stress-free day. We would like the day events to be free for all members of the Hammond Police Department to show appreciation for the daily events. We are reaching out to a few committed supporters such as you may be interested in supporting this day. As you can imagine, there are numerous costs to make the day run smoothly. Monetary donations are always greatly appreciated, but every donation is very helpful and very much appreciated. At few of these times, we are seeking our monetary donation gifts, cards, certificates, or door prizes, or raffle prizes of any kind. Monetary donations will allow us to purchase many of those items, but again, anything you can do to help the Hammond Police Department make this day a success is appreciated and would show your appreciation for their efforts. The members of the attending police department will be well informed of the generous supporters of this event through word of mouth, sign, announcement, emails, and flyers. If you would like to be a sole sponsor of the activities such as ice cream station, dump take of others, please contact me directly and we will make a special sign for the business stating this event brought to you by the council or councilwoman or the Hammond City Council Children area. Excuse me. If you choose to make a monetary donation, please send and make a check payable to the Hammond Police FOP Lodge 51 C-O Sergeant Steve Kellogg, 509 Douglas Street, Hammond, Indiana 46320. Sincerely, Hammond Police Sergeant Steve Kellogg.
Any other communications? Communications is now closed. Moving on to committee reports.
Mr. President,
Councilwoman Vines.
as usual, I would like to announce the upcoming Community and Crime Watch meetings. On Thursday, August 20th, the Hessville Crime Watch will meet 7 p.m. at the Gene Shepherd Center. The South Hammond Crime Watch will also meet on Thursday, August 20th, at the Hammond Housing Authority building. That is also at 7 p.m. Also on Thursday, August 13th, the Whiting Robertsdale Crime Watch will meet at Calumet College at 6:30 p.m. I would also like to extend my sincere gratitude to everyone who participated in National Night Out. Our attendance exceeded our wildest dreams. It was one of the most successful National Night Outs that we've hosted so far. And none of that is possible without all of the people who volunteered. They're too numerous to name, so I won't for fear of leaving someone out, but this is volunteerism at its best, and I thank you to everyone who participated. And that is how change happens, one person, one gesture, one moment at a time. Thank you.
Any other committee reports? Committee reports is now closed. Moving on to ordinances, third and final passage, there are none. Introduction of ordinances, there are none. Resolutions, there are none. Next will be new and unfinished business.
Item A, BZA Z-15-04, a petition of South Lake Community Mental Health Center for variance of use from zoning ordinance to allow a community health center medical clinic located at 320 140th Street within the city of Hammond, Lake County, Indiana.
Mr. Chairman,
Councilman Kowinski.
I move that 15-29 pass through first and second reading, be referred to council as a whole with a letter of intent to consider for 8/24/15.
Second.
We have a motion by Councilman Kowinski, second by, is that Councilman Higgs? Councilman Higgs, is there any discussion?
Mr. Chairman,
Councilman Kowinski.
just to elaborate quickly, what this entails is the complex that was the St. Joe's Boys home. The three-story building would be taken down. The parking lot would be increased and enhanced with green space and trees. And the gymnasium, which is the newest building, would be converted into a two-story medical health care clinic. The one-story building, because there are three buildings in all on the complex, the one-story building currently houses 7 or 8 chronically mentally ill, is that correct? And they would remain there as well. They've been there probably the last couple years, or whenever Phoenix House in Robertsdale was canceled out and tore down. So next meeting, there will be representatives from South Lake Mental Health Center, and they're in the audience actually today, and their attorneys, and they'll be here for the committee meeting at 5:15 in 2 weeks on Monday. Thank you.
Any other discussion?
There isn't an ordinance before the council, so I take it we'll just have a motion to approve the petition at the next meeting.
Well, we're doing the first and second now.
It does have a number.
There's no ordinance on it.
Got a number.
It has a number, 1529.
It has a number,
It has a number, but it doesn't say ordinance. That's-
not an ordinance.
Okay. So how do we proceed, clerk? What do-
The attorney says to make a motion to adopt, I guess, correct?
Yeah, well, I mean, you can still do the intent to consider notice, but I would think instead of doing first and second and then the final, you just
All right.
approve the petition at the next meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Berger. Before we do that, does anybody have questions for the representatives of South Lake Mental Health Center?
Mr. Chairman,
Councilman Markovich?
maybe we should have that individual come before the council now and have him give his synopsis of what's going on and what they're doing.
Agreed. Is that a motion?
Motion.
Do we need to go to, I second it.
Motion to allow, or, well, probably should go for suspension of the rules.
Right.
Move for suspension of the rules.
Motion by Councilman Markovich, second by Councilman Kowinski for suspension of the rules. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Rules suspended.
And the reason to do this is because before we pass it, anybody who has any more questions should go ahead and get them answered. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Laura Frost. I'm an attorney with Hodges and Davis in Maryville, Indiana. I'm here representing South Lake Community Mental Health Center, doing business as Regional Health Clinic. The petition, briefly, as Mr. Kowinski said, the property is located at the current address is 320 140th Street in Hammond. It was the former location of the St. Joseph's Home for Boys, was used as an orphanage. Again, there are 3 buildings on the property. There's a gymnasium, the one-story residential, the gymnasium, which is not currently being used, a one-story residential building, which houses those 7 or 8 residents, which the councilman mentioned. Then there's the 3-story residential building on 140th Street. The property is located in an R3 zone. We're asking for a petition for a use that's permitted in Title VII under Section 11 as a medical clinic. Again, this would be a community mental health center, not mental health, a community health center. The petitioner has obtained a grant to operate a federally qualified health center, just like the one they have on State Street currently. This would be open to all members of the community without regard to ability to pay. They do charge on a sliding scale so that anybody who comes to the center would be able to get healthcare services. It would be primarily primary care services, just like you would get mainly in a physician's office. There would also be dental services available at the clinic as well. Again, the third-story building is planned to be torn down to provide additional parking for the area. There will also be additional green space. We feel it will remove the existing building, which is somewhat dilapidated, and improve the appearance and quality of the area by the improvements that will be made. And additionally, it will provide needed services to everybody in the community, make it easy for people to come to the doctor that live in the area. So we think it is a positive development. I do have Tony Piquet, he's the architect for the project. He can explain a little bit more if there are developmental questions.
A quick question, how much is the grant for?
I don't know.
$640,000.
Yes, $640,000.
And that money goes towards the 2-story clinic, or towards the tear down, or towards the parking lot?
operation of the clinic.
operations, okay. So the monies to tear down and improve the parking lot come out of that or not?
No, they will not, they'll be financed.
Okay. And total cost of the project is, what do you estimate that to be?
1.4 to 1.5.
Okay. And on an annual basis, what might it cost to operate that facility?
Both in terms of operation and upkeep of the building, it'd probably run about 1.6, 1.7 million.
I know you mentioned to me what kind of staff would be there, but can you run that down again for the rest of the council? How many doctors or nurse practitioners, et cetera, et cetera?
There'll be 2 primary care.
Why don't you?
Introduce yourself, please. Sure.
I'm Bob Crumweed. I'm the president and CEO of Regional Mental. That's South Lake DBA. There'll be 2 physicians, 1 nurse practitioner, and a dentist on site, as well as some ancillary staff. There's a community outreach person, clerical office, billing folks, things of that nature.
And hours of operation?
Will basically be between 8 and 7 at night. The 7 at night would only be 2 days a week. At some point in time, we'd anticipate having Saturday morning hours, but not initially.
And would this be by appointment or walk-in?
Be both, primarily by appointment, but we will take anybody in off the street.
And is it for the general public?
Absolutely, yes.
Not defined by any
No.
criteria?
Nope. Anybody in need of primary care services, and in the State Street site, we're seeing everybody from 3 years to I think we had an 80-year-old the other day.
And then your Sibley operation, what kind of flow do you have on a daily basis of how many people do you see there?
Well, general practitioner, in order for us to cover our costs, needs to see about 24 clients a day, if you can believe that. That's a lot. And with the 3 folks there, then we'd probably have somewhere between 80 and 90 clients going in and out over the course of a 10-hour day.
Everyone needs insurance for this too?
They do not.
And if you have insurance, it's billed?
Yes, it is.
And will there be things like shots or
There'll be vaccinations available, absolutely. There'll be some modest lab work that we'll be able to draw and send out. It's just like going to your family physician.
sort of like going to the Douglas Park Clinic down the street a few blocks away? And
Yeah,
been there for a long time.
long time.
You know, the dentist part is interesting to me. Is this just emergency dental care, or there'll be no cleaning, there'll be no dental
There'll be cleaning,
hygienist?
it'll be all primary dental work.
And so the dentist does all that?
Yes.
Oh,
Well, he'll have, you might bring a hygienist with him from time to time. That's all by appointment. We don't do any walk-in on that.
yeah.
Do you envision increasing the hours of operation?
We don't envision increasing the hours of operation at this point in time, no.
Mr. Chairman,
Councilman Markovich?
it was stated in our caucus that you presently have some people living there now. Is that correct?
We have a group home that we've operated for, I want to say 6 years, currently on site there. It's a self-contained facility. It's basically for elderly, chronically mentally ill individuals. These are folks that have a difficult time ambulating and have a long experience in the state hospital, and they stay inside the facility there and in the fenced-in yard.
How many are there now?
7 there, I think, today.
Male and female? Or-
Yes,
So that's combined?
yes.
Do you plan on expanding that?
No. There's a limit in terms of zoning to 8 anyway, but that's, frankly, it's an aging population. That the individuals that are chronically mentally ill tend to be bifurcated at this point in time. Folks that are older tend to have a lot of institutional experience and are institutionalized. Folks that are having their first break and are younger are more appropriately cared for in the community through sending folks out to them as opposed to bring them in and catering to their needs. So these are folks that are largely institutionalized and can't fend and have a difficult time fending for themselves in the community.
So So as this aging population passes on, are you going to continue using it that way and bring in others?
As they're available. At some point in time, everything changes. I don't know when that point is. I believe that to be 10 to 15 years out.
Mr. President,
Councilman Higgs?
how many people you have on staff for this facility?
No, there'll be about 15.
And they monitor the facility 24/7?
Oh, I'm sorry. Which facility are you talking about? The facility that's in front of you today
Yes.
will be about 15. And it will not be open 24/7.
So the hours of operation will be what?
Roughly 8 to 7, 5 days a week, and eventually 2 days a week to begin with, and eventually Saturday mornings. It would never be beyond 8 to 7.
And the total investment is what now again?
Well, the building itself will run $1.4 to $1.5 million to get it up and running. The annual operating budget would be somewhere between $1.7 and $1.8 million. About half of which comes from the federal government, the HRSA, the Health Resources Services Administration.
And the monies coming in, will there be monies, federal monies coming in annually?
Yes.
And how long is that for?
It's
Does that run out at some point?
It's an operating grant that is renewable every 3 years, okay? It's an open competition every 3 years, so it's always possible that we'd lose it, although would be highly unlikely. It'll continue until such time as there's no longer a need for care for indigent folks. And, you know, again, with the increase in the availability of affordable health insurance, the estimates are that, you know, within the next 2 years, 93% of the public will have some sort of health insurance. So my guess is what'll happen, not my guess, my belief is what'll happen, is that as those things get rolled out, it'll be a fee-for-service supplanted by HIP, Medicaid.
Mr. President?
Councilman Spitali?
How can you lose that grant? You said you had like 24 people coming in through the day. How could you lose that grant?
I'm sorry.
Can you lose, you mentioned you normally the grant that you have
Would be
every
3 years.
3 years.
Uh-huh.
How can you lose that?
It's an open competition. Folks could apply for it. The only time they ever turn them over, however, is if there's some business issues with it. For instance, the FQHC in East Chicago went bankrupt due to some poor management. But they're extraordinarily stable institutions, certainly as stable, if not more stable, than the community mental health center systems are. It's just not likely to happen. If it does happen, I won't be here to see you anymore, I guarantee that.
Mr. President.
Councilman Emerson?
Do you plan to work with families of the patients or clients, their family members?
Oh, sure, absolutely. Anybody that wants to come in.
And then the second part is, how many of the staff you mentioned are social workers?
There'll be nobody there full-time who's a social worker or psychologist. We won't provide behavioral health services there. We'll continue to provide those through the CMHC.
Medical,
Okay.
medical and dental only.
Any other questions? Any other questions? Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Motion to go back to regular order of business?
So moved. Second.
Motion by Councilman Markovich, second by Councilman Hinojosa. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Mr. Chairman,
Councilman Kowinski.
I make a motion to approve a petition of South Lake Community Mental Health Center for variance of use for this facility.
Second.
Second.
A motion by Councilman Kowinski, second by Councilman Spitali. We need a roll call vote on that, right?
Yes.
Yeah, Clerk Golick, roll call vote.
Markovich.
Yes.
Spitali.
Yes.
Vines.
Yes.
Kalwinski.
Yes.
Ulaki. Higgs.
Yes.
Emerson.
Yes?
Enosa.
Yes.
Opinker.
Yes. 1529 passes, 801 absent, with an intent to consider on August 24th. Any other new and unfinished business?
Mr. President,
Councilwoman Vines.
yes, I would like to announce an upcoming rodeo here in the city of Hammond on Saturday, August 22nd 3 p.m. at Memorial Park. This is hosted by the Eastside Community Council and Melvin Clay Urban Cowboy, Inc. The City of Hammond is also working with the Eastside Community Council on this. As I said, the admission is free. It starts at 3 o'clock, and not often do we have an opportunity for our children, or the adults for that matter, to attend a rodeo here in the City of Hammond. So they had one a couple of years ago. It was a huge success, and I invite everyone to come out. Thank you.
Okay, also, under new unfinished business, we do have 2016 budget hearings scheduled coming up. Actually, Monday, September 15th, that's an introduction of the budget ordinances. That's a regularly scheduled council meeting. Monday, September 8th will be a public hearing, which is also a regular scheduled council meeting. Saturday, October 10th, will be department budget hearings, which is at 9 a.m. That is open to the public. And then Tuesday, October 13th, which Monday the 12th is a holiday, so we will not be having a meeting on the holiday. We'll have a special meeting on Tuesday, October 13th for the adoption of the budget ordinance, special meeting date.
Mr. President,
Councilman Higgs.
I received the correspondence from United Neighborhood, Inc. It says Anthony Higgs, 5925 Calumet Avenue, room 207, Hammond, Indiana, 46320. Mr. Anthony Higgs, United Neighborhood, Inc. received your request for update information pertaining to the property locations for the Blight Elimination Program. Please review the enclosed list of properties added on or removed from the Blight Elimination Program. The listing are detailed in a way that outlines the current status of the said properties. Thank you for your interest and hope in the information provided is a contribution in future constructive endeavors. Tamika Pope, Office Manager, United Neighborhood, Inc. And then it has Blight Elimination Program. Number 1, properties to be acquired, 1117 Michigan Street, Hammond, Indiana, 46324. 816 Summer Street, Hammond, Indiana, 46320. 1150 Summer Street, Hammond, Indiana, 46320. 1408 Sherman Street, Hammond, Indiana, 46320. 4931 Oak Avenue, Hammond, Indiana, 46327. Number 2, tax sale acquisition certificates. 908 Bauer Street, Hammond, Indiana, 46320. 909 Bauer Street, Hammond, Indiana, 46320. 913 Bauer Street, Hammond, Indiana, 46320. 838 Carroll Street, Hammond, Indiana, 46320. Potential, number 3 is potential replacement properties. 5658 Walter Avenue, Hammond, Indiana, 46320. 927 Logan Street, Hammond, Indiana, 46320. 4723 Sheffield Street, Hammond, Indiana, 46327. 4617 Ash Avenue, Hammond, Indiana, 46327. 4618 Ash Avenue, Hammond, Indiana, 46327. Number 4 is properties removed from the BEP list. I don't know what that list is, but I guess Chris can answer that question. Is she still here?
No.
She left? Okay. Interesting, though. 848 May Street, Hammond, Indiana, 46320. 644 Sibley Street, Hammond, Indiana, 46320. 1153 Wilcox Street, Hammond, Indiana, 46320. 4522 Snyder Avenue, Hammond, Indiana, 46327. 4306 Elm Avenue, Hammond, Indiana, 46327. 6317 Monroe Avenue, Hammond, Indiana, 46324. 604 Kenwood Street, Hammond, Indiana, 46324. 5415 Tail Avenue, Hammond, Indiana, 46327. 133440 Highland Street, Hammond, Indiana, 46320. And 1325 Field Street, Hammond, Indiana, 46320. And 814 Hoffman Street, Hammond, Indiana, 46327.
Mr. Chairman,
Councilman Markovich.
I would request that the council make a copy of all that for all the councilmen and give a copy of that to the clerk because she couldn't write that fast, I don't think.
Any other new and finished business?
Mr. Chairman,
Councilman Markovich.
in regards to the rodeo, I would make a request that a letter be sent to the school city administration to let all the school kids know that this rodeo is taking place on August 22nd and what the location and so forth, to let everybody in the city of Hammond know what this is going on.
Motion by Councilman Markovich, second by Councilman Hinojosa to let the Hammond Public Schools know about the date of the rodeo. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion granted. Any other new and unfinished business?
Mr. President,
Councilman Higgs.
I just want to thank whoever's responsible for getting 1135 164th Street demoed, and I just can't wait till 838 Bauer is demoed as well, but I really appreciate it. That house has been vacant for a number of years. The trees were falling all over, and the residents on Revenburbs Drive were extremely upset with the fact of it just remaining there. And there's one other property that I'm working on extremely hard to get demoed that's facing Columbia Avenue. I think it's 6404 Columbia. It's the only property on Revenburbs Drive that's facing the opposite direction from the other new homes that's been structured under the Urban Renewal Project. So certainly I do appreciate that, and Chris and the mayor's staff or whoever was responsible for extraditing that and making sure that it gets demoed, I appreciate it.
Any other new and unfinished business? New and unfinished business is now closed. Moving on to public expression. First speaker of the night will be Renee Greenleaf, Hammond Public Library.
Good evening, Mr. President and members of the City Council. I am here today to give a humongous thank you to all of you who helped us with the Library Foundation. The Hammond Public Library was able to open its foundation, received its 501c3, and there are at least 3 people on the council that I would like to thank so much. Ms. Janet Vaness, thank you for your donations to us, your help with us. It was graciously appreciated. Mr. Spitali, thank you so very, very much. I really appreciated your donation and your help to the Hammond Public Library Foundation. They received cups, but there was one other person who didn't receive a cup, and I wanted to make sure that he was recognized. Councilman Higgs, this is for you. Thank you so very much for your donation to the Hammond Public Library Foundation. I graciously appreciated it. Thanks. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Greenleaf. Next speaker, Ms. Carlotta Blake King.
Good evening. Good evening, Mr. President, and to the council members, all of the council members. First of all, I have a question. I did miss last council meeting, and an article appeared in the paper. The headline was, "Appeals Court Flushes Hammond Sewer Contract Cancellations." And in reading this article, from my understanding, the appellate court ruled against the contracts that were negotiated between the city of Hammond. And I just need to know, I would like to know, how does that affect the bond that has been completed by the city of Hammond? According to the article, Mayor McDermott is going to ask for an appeal. So that was my first question. I don't know if it was on your radar. I haven't seen anything in the paper since. But again, appeals court flushes Hammond Sewer contract cancellations with Griffith, Highland, Whiting, so forth and so on. So it's just a question for information, please, at some point. Secondly, I'm so excited to announce the collaboration between the 3rd District Councilman Anthony Higgs and the Hammond High School PTSA and the Hammond Grassroots Coalition as we come together this coming Saturday, August 15th, from noon to 3 p.m. at the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Park, formerly Maywood Park, and just an awesome display of love for our children. Councilman Higgs will be doing his 14th annual school supply giveaway, and the Hammond High School will be presenting their All Student Lives Matters rally, which is so very important. We are certainly trying to inspire young people to achieve their highest academic achievement and goals in life. Hammond High has so many stories to tell, and Dr. Superintendent Watkins will be on board to share all of the good stuff that's going on at Hammond High School, he and Mrs. White. We have enlisted the help of several elected officials. So far, Frank Mervan, Mac Repay, Barry Tyler, Hammond High School alumni, Barry Tyler, and you know he's worked with the City of Hammond, Jordan Beasley, WJOB, and Coach Larry Moore. They'll all be tooting the horns of our young folks and trying to get them to go a little higher. Our cheerleaders will be there, their ROTC will be there to perform, and we also have just received contact from Superintendent Glenda Ritt's office. And you know, she's the State Department of Education person, and they're sending a representative, because she too is aware of how hard we are working at Hammond High to increase those scores and to get that grade level up. And we know as we celebrate next year our 100th year anniversary of Hammond High School, this will just be impetus to just get it going. So please come out. We do have flyers and support us. I know Councilman Markovich, I know you're aware of it and you're supporting us, and anybody who wants to come out and give, just, you know, inspire these young people, because they need to see you all. You all are people that have achieved great things in this city. You're doing things, and our kids need to see that folks from Hammond are doing positive things. And one other thing, and lastly, please, we will be coming before you probably the next school board council meeting because the issue of the jaywalking is still on the table. That moratorium we never received. School starts Wednesday or Thursday, and of anything, these babies do not need to be addressed with that. I mean, you all passed a civility resolution, so let's have some civility when it comes to our young folks. But we'll come back next council meeting asking for a moratorium on the jaywalking. Thank you very much.
Next speaker will be Kitten Gray.
Good evening. I'm President and Hammond City Council. I am here to thank you guys. I've been in Hammond for over 23 years, and I have successfully raised a world-class musician and a marine biologist from the city of Hammond. So although there were some challenges, some good times, some bad times along the way, I made it to where I am today, and I want to thank you. Especially recently, you guys supported my daughter to Mr. Peggy out of Gary does a historically black college tour called GEMS, and I believe the entire council signed off with the exception of Janet Vanez to give my baby money to go on the tour. And by the grace of God, she got a very, very good scholarship from one of the historically black colleges. She will be representing Hammond away from home and plans to come back and share her dreams and endeavors, and even thank you personally for helping her to go on the GEMS tour, which she went this school year last school year, as well as 2 years ago. So she has really been to 26 historically black institutions. So my gratitude makes me very joyful. Thank you so much, City of Hammond.
Thank you. Okay, moving on to motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Hinojosa, second by Councilman Spitali. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Meeting adjourned.